Hey guys, I hope you all are doing fine today. We're gonna have a very different video. I'll be talking about these two who have been attacking the AE map lately. So let's go ahead and look at their arguments. I wasn't really going to make any video about this subject, but a couple of days ago I was watching a video by Q and Fee when I found this comment there. Q, you should check out Flat Earth Banjo, who commented on your video Punch Train video. He promotes TikTok flat earthers who repeat old debunked crap from 2015. He has the AE map in almost every video he does. Yes, of course I do. I do have the AE map in almost every video I make. It's just because the Gleason's AE map, it's the true map of the world, and I'm gonna show you. You're gonna have a much greater respect for the Gleason's AE map when you finish watching this video today. So back in 2017, that's when his nonsense started. He first made a video starting in November 2017 when he attacked the AE map. Then he attacked me for using the Gleason's AE map. I did make a video in response, and it was a massive blow to his nonsense, to the point that he disappeared for 2 years. But now he's back. So as you know, just like when you have a home, if you don't keep up cleaning it and maintaining the bugs out, they keep coming back. Once in a while we have to take care of the house, get rid of the bug. In this case, we are exposing the shields within the flat earth. So let's go ahead and get started with this presentation. Let's listen what he said back in 2017.
I'm going to debunk the popular AE map in real time.
When he said that he was going to debunk the AE map in real time back in 2017, I thought that he had taken a trip around the world to check if the places were really there, because that's how you debunk a map. If the map says, for example, that Canada is north of the US, and then you travel north and you find out that country is not Canada, but let's say Sweden, then the map is incorrect. But if the map says north is Canada and south is Mexico, you are in between, and you actually travel these two places and you find out that that's correct, so you're not debunking the map.
All you have to do is go to a weather app.
So that's what he called research. In his living room, phone in his hand, watching TV, eating popcorn. So I'm going to show you here how real research is done. You have to actually travel to the places and make sure things are there. Let's go ahead and start with the Gleason's AE map. And those lines in blue are actually my flight routes. What do I mean by my flight routes? I mean that those are the places that I have been. So I was born there in São Paulo, as you see, and I live in Tokyo. I mean, not Tokyo, but I live in Japan. And those are the routes that I use when I'm traveling from Brazil to Japan. I can fly northwest, Los Angeles, and then Japan, or I can fly northeast through Europe and then arrive in Japan. I can also fly to Doha or Dubai and Japan to Brazil, and you can see there that I have traveled around the world in both directions, either going northeast or going northwest, the same way going back to Brazil. And there are other alternatives like going through Paris, going through London, or through the other cities, through other cities of the United States. So there you see Frankfurt, Japan, and these are all ways that I use to travel when I travel from Japan. So I'm going to pinpoint here for you and demonstrate how things really are. So there you have, I'm going to start with this flight Rio de Janeiro to Los Angeles. If you go to the Great Circle Map, the website, and you type the cities, for example, São Paulo and Los Angeles, that's the flight route that they were going to show you. As you can see there, the red line, they fly over the Pacific Ocean and then all over Central America and all over Mexico before arriving in Los Angeles. But in reality, that's not the way the aircraft flies. When you fly from Sao Paulo to Los Angeles, you do not fly over Central America and Mexico. You fly that way there, east from the islands, and then you enter US airspace, and then you fly continuously over US airspace until you arrive in Los Angeles. This is the real flight route I have flown. That's Varig Flight 839, São Paulo, Los Angeles. This is a non-stop flight, but actually it wasn't because the company folded. So now if you want to travel this route, you have to fly with another carrier. But I'm talking about the non-stop flight, okay? It never flies over Mexico. It never flies over Central America, much less over the Pacific. Just when you leave Brazil, you fly east of the islands, you fly over Puerto Rico, and then you enter US airspace, and you are in Los Angeles. So let's go back to the license map, and this flight Atlanta to Brasilia. The whole time when you fly east of the islands, and the last time the captain even said, look at to your right and see that's Haiti, Dominican Republic. You can see the islands from a distance from the plane, and the captain even highlighted that's the islands. So the license plate Earth map is correct, because when you fly you have the geographical observations. You can actually see where you're flying, and you can confirm that you're not flying on a spinning ball, that you're not flying on a square map, you're flying over map over here. And this flight from Los Angeles to Japan, how many times I get messages from people that saying they are seeing the ocean on the screen in front of them, but when they look out from the window they see land. That's because they're flying when they're close to Alaska, where it's in between Japan and the US. So very common for people to tell me they see land instead of flying over the ocean, as they say. Now this is another flight route. This is when I fly to the US from Japan. I land in Detroit, right? But Edward Henry has an interesting story. He did ask an astronaut for a flight route on the globe, and the astronaut drew him a flat route that's supposed to be the shortest route on the globe. You can see there, really south of Alaska, flying from DC to Japan. But when Edward actually traveled, he notes that the coordinates showed 70 degrees north latitude, which matches with the AE map. So the AE map is correct. When we fly, we can observe, we have geographical observation, and in this case, even the coordinates demonstrate that the route he took favors the AE map and not the globe or any other projection. So the AE map is correct, and people who attack the AE map normally do not know enough of it. So there I have my license AE map. I have placed the 4 islands there, and when you fly, it's very interesting. My daughter flew back from the US not long ago. She told me they requested them to close the windows. It's because they don't want you to see those 4 islands over there. So you also can fly Japan to Europe. See there, TNF, that means Holland. That's the country where TNF comes from. So you fly Frankfurt, you can fly to Paris, Madrid, or Lisbon, direct flight, and from there you fly from South America. You can also fly Japan, London, England. So as you can see, that's how I fly around the world, and that's what it is. You fly around the world either going west or going east from Brazil. So that's that blue line to New Zealand. It's because I have traveled to New Zealand, and that's where I plan to take my students every year. And that favors the A map 100%. The A map is correct. You have geographical observations whenever you fly to these places. You can bring your compass like I did my last trip. I took my compass with me, and you can certify yourself that to fly over a flat, non-rotating, with a circular shape, flat Earth. Okay guys, this is the Gleason's map again, but this one does not have the flight routes. And I'm gonna show you here some places that I have been. Those places really prove that the Gleason's map is correct. Let's start here with South America, of course. So as I have told you guys before, I am from São Paulo, Brazil, and I have traveled around Brazil quite a lot. So if you see it here, this guy, this is a place called Iguaçu Falls, where you have Paraguay on one side, you have Argentina and Brazil. So it divides three countries right here. You're gonna see here, I'm gonna display Iguaçu Falls. So I've known all these places here, Paranaguá, Curitiba. This is where a lot of my family still live. I have a sister in São Paulo. So we know that Uruguay is there, Argentina is there, Paraguay is there. This is easy to prove. Anybody who has been to South America traveling know all these places. So I also drove to this region here, central in Brazil, and I went all the way here on the border of Bolivia. At that time I wanted to go to Pumapunco because I was a big fan of the Ancient Aliens. But when I got here, the guy told me, well, you still have like 24 hours. And that's how I even am more sure now that Gleason's map is correct, because South America is much wider than compared to the globe. I thought that, looking at the globe on that time would take him just a few more hours, but he told me, no man, it's 24 hours from the border until Pumapunco, where I was here. So you can see here, I'm gonna touch this subject later, but it's just like we don't have port of entry here, only in this region, okay? So here you go, Quito, Ecuador, the city right at the equator, Lima, Caracas, Venezuela. So everything seems correct. My father is from this city here, from this state. My mother is from here, and I was born here in São Paulo. And I have already explained to you guys, when you fly here, all the islands, you don't fly over them, because Earth is not a globe. So you have here Acapulco, Mexico. I lived in New York City for a while. So I drove once, me and two friends. It took 24 hours to drive from New York to Miami. We drove 8 hours each one, and everything is there. Like when you drive down here from New York, you go New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Delaware, Pennsylvania, and then you go by here, Maryland, and you keep going, North Carolina, South Carolina. Here I remember stopping in Charleston, Georgia, Savannah. We did stop in Savannah, Georgia, and then we drove all the way to Miami. So the Gleason's map is correct because all those places are there, and you guys can certify. I also drove all the way here from Georgia to San Diego, where we lived for 6 months. So when you drive here, you take I-20, and you take I-20, and then you go Birmingham, Alabama. Then we arrived in Mississippi. Then Louisiana. We crossed Louisiana until we arrived in Texas. So we spent our first night in Texas. The following day, it was all day driving because Texas is a big state. We drove all the way, and then we arrived in New Mexico. I think we spent the night in New Mexico. No, I don't remember. The next day or so, Arizona, and then San Diego. So these places are there. So the Gleason's map is correct. There's nothing wrong with the map. When you are here in San Diego, I went to Los Angeles. If you keep driving northwest, you're gonna go to San Francisco, Portland, Seattle. You eventually will end up in Canada. So you guys know there is this border here. North here is Canada. So what's wrong with this map? There's nothing wrong with the map. So let's go here to this place, Aleutian Island. It was in the hands of the Japanese during the Second World War for a while, but then Canadians and Americans retook the island. But the Japanese, who were right here, very close, they invaded the islands and they took them. So here we have Tokyo, Japan. So everything is correct on this map. And I invite you guys who still doubted this map. There's a sizable Chinese community in the US. Just show them this map and ask them, is Beijing here where it shows it is? If you go south, is that really Shanghai? And then if you keep going south, is that really Taiwan? That's another way to do research. And if you go west, Hong Kong, you keep going west, you reach India. So there is also a sizable Indian community in the US. I visited them in New York in a place called Jackson Heights. So you find plenty of Indian people there. You can ask them, hey, is this New Delhi? Is this map right? Bombay, Calcutta, Cochin? I mean, there are other ways to prove the map. We have Dubai here, Cairo, Egypt, Moscow, and here in Europe, you have Holland here. This is a European Central Time Zone right here. So you have Holland, you can talk to Q and Phi in Holland, say, hey, is Paris south of Holland? Okay, because that's what the map shows. You can check with Vika, he's from Spain. Ask him, is Lisbon west of Spain? So there are many ways that you can certify that the map's correct. And as it says here, scientifically, practically correct. So there's no doubt this is the map of the world. Another great evidence for the A map, that the A map is a true representation of the Earth, was found when I read this post left also by Jake on Q and Phi's channel. Hopefully you can see this reply. How about Saturday at 1 p.m. my time, which is 10 p.m. your time? So once I saw that post, I quickly got my time zone calculator made with the A map license. You see there, that's my coordinate 135 east. All I have to do is place the coordinate line over the time. For example, right now here in Japan is 4 p.m. or 16 hours. So I place my longitude line there and I know what time it is all over the plane. All I had to do was to place California time at 1 p.m. and then you can check that that's exactly 10 p.m. in Holland. That's European Central Time. So 1 p.m. Pacific Time. It matches exactly the post Saturday at 1 p.m. in my time, which is 10 p.m. your time. So it matches perfectly with the Gleason's A map. You see there, 10 p.m., 22 hours military time, or perhaps UTC time, I don't know how you call. Here we highlighted the time zones, USA Pacific Time, 1 p.m., and 22 hours or 10 p.m. Central European Time in Holland. So it matches reality. The A map, the Gleason's A map is correct. It matches our reality. That's what we see right there. Central European Time, USA Pacific Time. Here we see on another layout, you see there USA Pacific Time, 1 p.m., 10 p.m. in Europe, 10 p.m. Central European Time. So one more time, that we have evidence that the Gleason's AE map is a reliable source and truthful. I want to give credit this to Kian Fee Productions. He did something really interesting. He covered the AE map, in this case the Gleason's AE map, in black, and only used the 360 degrees circle around it and the dial to pinpoint the exact location of these 4 cities: Brisbane, Perth, Cape Town, and Buenos Aires. Let's take a look.
Today I'm going to plan my trip, fly from Brisbane, Perth to Cape Town to Buenos Aires. Let's start at Brisbane on the 153rd longitude. 153rd, and then the 27 latitude south. That would be somewhere around here. Now let's move to Perth on the 115th longitude. 115 longitude, and on the 31st latitude south. Cape Town, 18th longitude. Cape Town, 18th longitude, and the 33rd latitude south. Somewhere around here. Now let's move to Buenos Aires on the 58th longitude west. 58 longitude west, and then we have to go to the 34 latitude south. That would be somewhere around here. So we went from here to here, and then to Buenos Aires. Let's see how that look like. So that looks pretty spot on. Over all those long distances, you can calculate the coordinates, just like I did. Australia is the correct size, just like everything on this map, according to the coordinate system. It's so funny how those idiot ballers.
So at the end, when he uncovered the Gleason's map, he saw that the points that he had made in the dark matches exactly the reality. So the coordinate system also certifies that the Gleason's map is correct. You cannot fly or navigate anywhere without your coordinate system, and the coordinate system does prove that the flat Earth map, the Gleason's A map, is correct. Now let's focus on this lady for a minute. She has been making videos also attacking the AE map, both on her YouTube channel and on her TikTok account. So this is her page on YouTube, her YouTube channel, and that's a quite woke title, Build It Better, for the video. It's more like Build Back Better. Her research is just as well done as her sidekicks. So let's take a look at some of her claims. Now this lady, all she does is to push this fake square map. That's why so many globers make fun of flat earthers using memes like this, because this is the map that she pushes, the square map, which makes no sense. She also demonstrates that she knows nothing about port of entry.
Here's the globe on Google Maps, and it's pretty much the same as the flat earth map. They both show that Alaska and Russia are almost touching. They're just divided by this crooked line, the meridian, which actually makes it so they're a full day apart. This map right here is more correct.
All she does is to push this fake square map.
This is the map.
This is the map. This is the map.
She also demonstrates that she knows nothing about port of entry.
You should be able to fly from Alaska to Russia. Actually, it looks like you should be able to take a boat there. It looks like you should be able to take a paddle boat over there.
There is a way to go from Alaska to Siberia by boat, as we see demonstrated in this video.
Hi, and welcome to the city of Nome. You know, during the gold rush here, the city of Nome was the largest city in Alaska, and it's our jumping off point for our Alaskan adventure. And we'll also take those Sea-Doos all the way to the international date line and then beyond into Russian waters.
Time of departure is probably be about 5 minutes, 9:20. So, and it's Wednesday. We're gonna ride to Russia and it's gonna be Thursday. Then we're gonna ride back to the USA and come back to yesterday, if that makes any sense.
The final leg of this record-breaking trip is about to begin. With engines roaring, our Sea-Doo set a world's first. We are the first people to drive personal watercraft from America to Siberia. Up ahead is the Russian Army outpost on Big Diomede Island.
Мы члены экспедиции, которая идет в бухту Провидения, но у нас поломка.
Let's just give a little update of what's going on. We had a bit of a discussion, and Big Diomede is basically right in front of us, Russian territory. Because Andre is a Russian citizen, he's going to get on the Sea-Doo and have a little chat and see if we can land here on Big Diomede and at least make sure that we do touch down on Russian soil.
Been watching us the whole time.
Gun-toting,
Military.
very young military,
Watching the whole time.
and very uncomfortable situation. Okay, we're standing by out here.
So what happened?
I was first arrested for 1 hour, but we do very smart. They did not land there.
They kept telling us to come on to shore, and we thought, no way. No way. It's Comrade Tim. Comrade Tim. Andre came out with this guy's hat. The guy with the green hat was the most menacing figure. An hour later, Andre comes out with the hat, so we knew everything was okay.
What did you have to trade for?
I tell you what, I didn't even get to show them all the cool stuff I had.
They saw the penthouse on the top of the
They
file.
saw the penthouse and
we were willing to give them this.
But anyway, I would have traded this
seriously.
for Andre.
We were gonna trade a Sea-Doo for a human.
You're already in the Russian waters.
Now let's look at another absurd claim by this lady. She thinks that when she was a kid, she learned that New Zealand was west of Australia when it never was.
A month or so ago, I found a large community of people online who strongly remember New Zealand to be in the very different place than where it is. Some remember it being northeast of Australia instead of southeast. Some remember New Zealand in essentially the same place, but Australia is further south. Some have it even further off. Let's see this map. See New Zealand and Australia. So, okay, it's got to be a little bit before Japan, and it is.
All she has to do is to look at the Gleason's Flat Earth map, and she will see the map was made in 1893, and you clearly see New Zealand standing east of Australia. So what might be the problem with these two researchers? They seem to be confused on the shape of the Earth and the lights in the sky. So let's listen what his problem was back in 2017.
How can it be light here, but be dark right here?
So as I was saying, it seems that his problem is not with the land itself, it's the lights in the sky. He's trying to debunk how light works, and he's mistaken think that he has debunked the map. The map is correct, everything is there, everything checks. The shape of the plane is irrelevant to how the sun and moon operate. The sun, the moon, the stars can do whatever they want, and they have no bearing on the map. Absolutely no bearing on the shape of the Earth. This animation demonstrates how the sun, depending on the altitude, can change the shape of the light that it emits. Several experiments have been done demonstrate exactly that. The shape of the light can change depending on the height of the light source. So how to address the claims of these two shields? I'm gonna be commenting on two subjects that they always bring up, and it's up to you to get to your own conclusion.
Freemasons are pushing the AE map to control us again.
I find that to be quite the opposite. The AE map used to be displayed much more before than it is today. So many footages in the past. As a matter of fact, RV Truth, Russian Vids, once had a video showing all the AE projections in old movies. We had beautiful AE projection clocks. Even here in Japan, many of them were made. Now we can't find them anymore, unless you find in auctions. The famous Gleason's map was once displayed in most schools and libraries in the United States. It's from his book, written in 1893. We have prepared a new map of the world as it is. The map is finally executed and printed in 6 colors. The map should hang in the house of every family in the land, as well as every office or public place. The publishing company have already a large wall map for schoolrooms and public places. The company will not only supply the United States, but the world. Very soon the globe map and Mercator's projection will not be found. So this map was actually on display in many places until something interesting happened. Paving the way for NASA and the Antarctic Treaty, the Gleason's AE map was removed from schools and libraries in 1957. Now all we have is this fake, ugly display. This one you can find online, you can buy watches and clocks like this, but this is exactly the model that the bad geography lady has been pushing on us.
This is the map.
This is the map. This is the map.
Does the sun circle over the flat Earth?
Now it is true that at certain times of the year, the sun appears to be going on a straight path from east to west above the equator. But knowing that the Earth has a circular shape, we also know that observers all over around the equator observe the same thing. So even though the sun does perform a straight path, at the same time it circles around the face of the Earth. How is it done? How is it possible? I don't know. I don't have the answer. I don't think this answer was given to us. The Book of Enoch describes that when the Watchers revealed some secrets to man, the Lord told them that they only reveal the small secrets, the silly secrets, not the great secrets. So I don't think the secret of how the luminaries work was given to man. It's also true that some people in Australia observe the sun rising from southeast and setting on the southwest. I have seen people talking about that. But it's also true that the same thing happens all over the plane. So again, even though the sun seems to be rising from southeast and setting on the southwest, it does the same for everyone all around the face of the earth. So the sun is really a mystery. It's very difficult to understand how the sun works. And I don't really have the answer, but I have more observations. For example, we know that this region here, south of Brazil, Argentina, Chile, is cold. It gets to be really cold, the snow. We also know that this region here in North America, Canada, US, gets to be really cold, snow. But here at the equator, it's never cold. It's always hot. As I told you before, my daddy comes from this state right here. And he told me the drought and lack of rain, always sunny in this region. If you go to the Amazon here, you'll see naked natives because it's really hot. Same thing happens here in South Africa. You have snow sometimes in Johannesburg. Also, you have plenty of snow here in Europe, Alps of Italy and Switzerland. But here, in the equatorial region of Africa, we have the Sahara Desert, and really hot. Same thing happens here in Asia. You have cold winters here in Japan. We just started fall and it's really cold. Whereas this region here is really hot. And then we have this region here, New Zealand, where we have snow and winter. So this is what we have. This is what we observe. Something happens in this region here twice a year that makes it hot. It can only be the sun circling. Even though it seems to be going on a straight path, it circles at the same time. We find the evidence here on this heat map. As I said, something happens in this region here that is always hot. So it has to be the sun circling this region here. We have already demonstrated how the Gleason's A map is correct. This is the layout of the continents. And if we have high temperature here always at the equator, it's because the sun has to be circling in this region. We also have a video evidence in this time-lapse of a flight from New York to Moscow, clearly showing the sun circling as the sun sets far away and then rises again as the plane reaches Russia. I'm going to present to you guys one more evidence of a circling sun. When you pinpoint the cities where eclipses are recorded and you pinpoint them on the flat Earth map, on the Gleason's map, you can clearly see that eclipses have a circular path over the flat Earth. Those paths make no sense on the square map, much less on the globe, because they appear to go on a zigzag way up and down. Once you convert those projections into flat Earth maps, you can see clearly how it makes more sense. All you have to do, once you have the flat Earth map in hand, locate the cities where the eclipse will be seen, and then you connect them on the flat Earth. You will see the circular path over the AE projection. And those lines, these eclipses, make no sense either on the globe or much less on the square map, because they would have to go zigzag. We know that that's not the path of the sun. It doesn't go really on a zigzag way. So this is one more evidence of a circling sun over a flat, non-rotating Earth. Now we have seen up to this moment that both geographical observations and the compass confirm a flat and circular world. We have evidences of a circular Earth because bearings require the geographic North Pole in order to calculate a direction. Because the Earth is a flat plane. By adjusting for declination variation, you can navigate anywhere on God's flat Earth. This cannot be done using the South Pole. It must be north. This proves that there is no South Pole. Does not matter where on Earth you are. North is always your point of reference. We have seen that time zones also favors the AE map, the Gleason's map. We also saw that the coordinate system also favors and proved the Gleason's map to be correct. We also saw that flight paths definitely demonstrate that the Gleason's map is correct. The Bible also states that the world has a circular shape when it says in Proverbs 8:27, "When he prepared the heavens, I was there, and he set a compass upon the face of the death." Proverbs 8:27. This is also what scriptures say. His going forth is from the end of the heaven, and his circuit unto the ends of it. There is nothing hid from the heat thereof. This is talking about the sun, describing the sun as having a circuit over the face of the earth. So, does the sun circle over the flat earth? Well, I'm gonna take the hit on that, but I will go ahead and side with what the scripture says, that the sun has a circuit unto the ends of it, and there is nothing hid from the heat thereof. So I'm gonna take the biblical side and say that it's my understanding throughout my trips around the world, my constant crossing the equator from north to south, knowing that the equator region is always hot and it's always cold down south Brazil and North America, and also understand the world as being of a circular shape, also based on my travels, either going northeast or northwest, but never straight up, because we cannot fly over the North Pole. So we gotta go around. So I go either way to the west, northwest to Japan and come back on the other side. It doesn't matter which way, I always have to go on a circle. So it's my conclusion that we live on a flat circular world that matches with the distance AE map. So yes, I would say the sun does go on a circuit based on what scriptures say. So that's all for today, guys. Thank you for watching. I hope I see you next time. Bye bye.